Hello, 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 everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you see, hear, or take a little peek in to see who this woman is on YouTube. And if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube my place, yeah, it's a place. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube. My goal is to reach 1,000 people, and if you know what, once I reach 1,000 people, you never know, might get some readings, might get something special. So let's put it out there, and so I can get some motivation, movement with it all. So welcome everybody. It is Saturday. It is the day after the new moon. The moon is still in Cancer. It'll be moving later on this evening to lovely Leo, and the moon's out of bounds. There isn't a lot of aspects in the heavens today, but I think this is also, with that being said, it's the day of, yeah, like, how did my week go? What's going on with my week? What do I, what worked, what didn't work? I mean, just within your week. I know for many of those who have been taking my meditation class and doing meditations each morning with me, have noticed in what this meditation is doing. This meditation is bringing up a lot of, energies that maybe we don't like to look at. Bringing up parts of ourselves that we don't normally look at or for. And I mean, usually with meditations, yes, we want to come out and we're euphoric and we're fabulous and everything's just flowing. And I feel like a pretty, pretty princess. Yet this meditation is having us to really dive deep more into our inner core. And diving deep sometimes isn't exactly what we want to do. So, and we're doing the Wahe Guru, Wahe Jio. And this one is, the translation is, indescribably great is God's infinite and ultimate wisdom. This mantra means a clear perception of what is important to preserve. And when you think of that, if we allow our anger to get in the way, or our fear to get in the way of our own truth, of our own divinity and our divine self, then we are blocking that ultimate wisdom. And we will get frustrated. We will get angry. We will get mad, because it's almost where our teacher, the divine, is coming in, and and I feel like it's Pluto coming in, and he says, "Did you get it yet? What? Did you get it yet? Did you get it yet?" And even if you're not in the meditation, it's it's what's happening with us in life right now. Are you getting it? Are you, what are you doing? Why are you just sitting there? Don't you have something to do? And you're just like, I just need a break. I'm just so overwhelmed with all the emotions. And it's almost where I feel like our guides, our gods, our goddesses coming in are saying, you've had a break. You've been on a break. It's time to do the work. It's time to get out there. It's time to do your spiritual work. It's time to get yourself into alignment and stop fucking around. It's time, if you're bitching and complaining about something, then it's time to make the change to change it. If you don't like the situation that you're in, if you don't like the person that you're with, if you're frustrated, and I know some of this is hard, it's not like you're going to go walk up and leave or quit the job, but start making either a communication. So if there's something between you and a person, have a conversation with them. If you're unable to have that conversation with them, then maybe it's time to move away from that person, not interact with that person. Some of you might be going back to work after a long time of working at home, and you're finding, you know what? I really don't want to work in this office. I don't want to work with these people. Kind of enjoyed working from home. I kind of enjoyed doing my own thing. How can I make the changes to do that? So this is a time of really saying, okay, this is what I need to do. Today's a real good day to moodle it over and look it over, because with the sun in Cancer, and it's, at 19 degrees now, it's getting us to really look at more of what we need to do and grounding it. So there's a lot of what we are doing and what we are processing, and we've been doing it all week. So there's been a lot of processing this week. This week has been a week of really getting things together. And, with this new moon, it's starting anew. So it's having us commit to a new chapter. It's having us to honor it. And it's letting us to take the joy and courage from it, and stepping into our joy and stepping into our courage and honoring this. So this is a new section. This is a new expansion in order for us, and the beautiful thing is we have a new moon every month. The cycles of nature brings us this beautiful ebb and flow for us to do these transformation and changes. But many of you aren't fucking paying attention. You're sitting there, you're complaining about this one, you're complaining about this, and you're upset about that, and you're upset about this, but you haven't looked at your own self in the mirror and said, okay, this is what I need to do for me. This is the changes I need to do. Yeah, it's a time release of the deepest fears and angers and hurt. Definitely, Tamara. And it's a process, but you got to start doing it. And I love being, and I put on Craig's thing, I love being the devil's advocate. Because it's getting people to think in different ways, right? It's getting you to look at things in new ways and not constantly do the same thing over and over and over and expecting the same result. Saturn is on Zephyrus. I think his name is Zephyrus. Now, if you know about anything to do with Greek mythology, what Zephyrus was this guy who rolls the rock up the hill, and then it rolls back down. And then he rolls it back up, and then he rolls it back down. And as he's going back down to chase it, he takes a break. But he eventually goes back and, goes after it. And this is a process. And maybe life is feeling like that. Maybe you're feeling like, I keep rolling things up the fucking hill and it keeps rolling the hell back down. I keep rolling. It's like I'm rolling this up and I'm rolling it back down. So it's a time to process. Task it. This is where we start to maybe feel overwhelmed. And especially with the sun in Cancer. So the sun in Cancer brings us huge emotions, lots of emotions. And everything comes up to the surface even more. And as it comes up to the surface, it's for us to really recognize it and sometimes just hold it. Last night in our meditation, one of the things was to put our hands on our hara. Our hara is just below our belly button. And just putting your hands on there, your left hand first, your right hand over that, and put your hand there and just close your eyes and take 3 deep breaths in. Then hold for 3 and release. And as you breathe in, you're allow for your stomach, like feel it going down into your stomach, and then allow it out. And allow your stomach just to expand, have that energy just to expand. And then doing that. And if you do that every day, all you have to do it is for I would do it for maybe a few rounds, for about a minute. You'll find that energy starts to shift and change. And when you're in that position, you can even call in your divine and start calling in. So this morning, I was feeling very off. I was feeling very angry, very upset of a few things that are happening in the house. that conversations need to have. But I have to look at the right moment to have them because I'm dealing with an Aquarius daughter. So, and, and the guards could come out, and I don't want that. Um, so honoring that and honoring that process.
I took
So,
the water.
did you? Aren't you lucky that mommy got water today? There goes the Aquarius daughter with a Taurus moon. So, anybody send me prayers because I need them. So, as we're coming into that energy, right, and coming in and putting our hands there and breathing in and letting it out, I called in Michael. Then I called in the Divine Mother Mary. And I called in Mary Magdalene. And what I could see within inside of myself was this shimmering of light coming in and just anchoring it in. And she said, release. That's all I heard was release. And I just let it out. And I could feel a shift come within me. And calling them in. And now you can call in. Now, if it's Hecate, call in Hecate. I mean, well, Hecate's going to make you. But I mean, if it's Hecate, if it's the Divine Mother Mary, I mean, any of the goddesses are going to make you do it. But even if it's Jesus, I mean, if it's Jesus for you to call in Jesus, call in Jesus. If it's Muhammad for you, Allah, call in Allah. Whoever it is, you can call that energy in. Call that to come through you, with you, and in you. Allow it to embrace all parts of you, physical and non-physical. I even called in my unicorns this morning to allow for my unicorn energy to come in so I could feel that brightness and that exuberance within my own self and within my alignment. And asking for that energy and asking for the help of my unicorns, because I love unicorns, helped me to, this morning when I did a little reading on TikTok, first card that I got was, I think it was it sovereignty? I got patience, sanctuary. And I've been writing a lot about sanctuary lately and wanting to have a sanctuary. So this is one where you spend some time in, whether it's an hour or 15 minutes, whatever you can do. I mean, for those who are moms, the thing is, some of you are mothers, moms out there, and you have little ones, and you're like, how can I get a break? Sometimes it's hiding in the bathroom. Sanctuary is taking a little bit of a time out. Maybe it's even calling your mother if you can, or your father, or your husband, or your boyfriend, or somebody, and saying, hey, you know what? I just need 30 minutes. Just give me 30 minutes. There's a lot of pressure on parents nowadays, and there's a lot of pressure, especially on moms, to be that full-time entertainment piece, to be that person to make sure that your kids aren't on screen all the time, and that your kids are in soccer, and they're in this, and they're in that, and they're entertained constantly. And I'm just like, oh my God. I never entertained my children constantly. My children were in activities, but one of the things, one of my youngest ones says, he goes, I think our problem is, Mom, you loved us too much, whatever that means. And it was, I allowed them to explore. I allowed them, even in, this is like, people say, well, hey, it was back then. My last child was born in 1997. So going into the 2000s, there was still like people making, dates with their kids and all this kinds of stuff, right? But my kids learned how, there was 4 of them. So they learned how to entertain themselves. They learned how to interact, find friends. Yes, if they needed to, their friend lived on the other side of town, of course we'd take them. But we, once they got their bikes, or they got to go out and they got biking, and I didn't give my kids cell phones until they were probably in high school. And even then, it was up to them to pay for their own bill. This is the thing, is that sometimes we have so much inundated upon us, so much control, or things that are wanting to control us, wanting to have our attention, that to find that sanctuary is difficult because we have to take that time out. We have to take that time out from the world and spend some time alone. Spend some time in order to reconnect and have patience. Patience is key because, many times it's like, well, I can't find any time today. Well, you can't find any time. Maybe it's before you go to bed. Maybe that quiet time is just like, right? But this is why I'm teaching the course, The Blue Flame, because it's finding that which is reaches far beyond you. And it could be a blog. Maybe it's writing. Maybe writing's your thing. For me, it's coming here and talking to you guys. Get up an hour earlier. Yeah. I mean, I used to do that too. Morning time is my sanctuary. It always has been. I had to train myself to do that. The reason being is that I was always, I love to sleep in. But with kids, I ended up training myself to get up a little bit earlier, make some coffee in the morning, and I would go sit out on the deck just to connect and ask for direction. Sometimes I didn't get any answers. Well, actually, sometimes, a hell of a lot of times, I didn't get any answers. As I'm asking to connect and I'm, surrendering. I can remember when I lived on Temple in Calgary here, and I'd go in my backyard and I'd say, okay, I surrender, I surrender, I surrender. Just, almost like I wanted God just to come in and just direct the whole train. Direct it. Just let me be in the train. I will go where you need me to go, but please just take over because I'm overwhelmed. And that's the thing, being overwhelmed, being in that place of like, fuck, I just can't do it anymore. Oh, this is a lot. Is honoring yourself because you're admitting it to yourself. There were times with those kids and the problems I had with that landlord was kind of on both sides, where he didn't want to fix my hot water tank. And I had to really be stern with him and to get that hot water tank. We went without hot water for over a month. And I had a hot tub and I'd filled the hot tub up with water. And I'm sure my sister and I filled the hot tub with water. I put a hose in it, and to have a shower, I hooked it up in the shower, so we had a hot shower with that hot tub. And I was told the landlord, "This is what I'm doing," and I filed a complaint against him, and then he got the hot water tank fixed. But he was a guy who thought, well, you live there, you do it, kind of thing. So that was a huge lesson for me in standing firm and standing up to him and not taking on other bullshit. And even when we had the flood a few years ago in Calgary, our whole basement flooded. And I said, you got to get a pump in here. The basement's flooded. And he thought it was my fault. And I said, how is it my fault when it came through through a crack in the bottom? And so that was sort of the winding down of the ending of living there. But the thing is that I could have got up and moved at any time. But there was such fear in me in moving. There was fear in me in saying, oh my God, if I move, I got to pack all this shit. I got to do all of this. Oh my God, could I find another place? I have so many children, and it was in that fear that I had to embrace. And it took a lot. It took a lot for me to embrace that and go through quite an ordeal, especially through 2014 to 2017. I mean, that was another one. But that was my going through I think it was a quarter square with Saturn. There's a lot going on then. But it, for me to go through these transitions to being here now and looking at all of that and saying, wow, I have to honor where I've been and where I need to go. And in honoring myself, and where this is where that sanctuary comes in, right down to craziness that have happened to me a month ago, with the whole my heart chakra opening. And but I think Tamara asked about, like, well, why would your jaw hurt? And I think my jaw hurt, which is a sign of a heart attack for women, but my jaw hurt, what I think was like, okay, you're not paying attention. So let's really get you going here. And it overwhelmed me to a point of, holy shit, if this is happening right now, then what? And I just had to let it go. And that's the same thing that's happening now, is that I just have to let some things go in order for me to step into my sanctuary and have the patience that it will be revealed, but having the courage to stand up to it all. And, when it comes to finances and money comes. It comes in crazy ways. And if we get stuck into a point where we think that money's only coming to us in one way, then we have limited our flow of abundance. Because we can create a financial flow at any time. That's one of the reasons why I'm doing that. I've started the personal transformation, mentoring, and coaching, becoming and stepping into the spiritual love of life coach. That's what I want to do. Spiritual love of life coach. And still, if somebody wants to book a one-on-one, perfect. You can go and we can book a one-on-one. We can still go through the reading, do the whole thing, help to guide you. And that's what my readings are anyways. But if you want to work on a one-on-one basis, I have 3 different packages, and they're up on the Guru Mama page. And you can buy the 3 different, do the 3 different packages. And when you sign up for them, I get you booked in, and we start going once a week. We start doing this. You paid the money. I'm here. I'm putting up, this is what I want for you. And being in that committed contract with the person to help you to make the transformational changes that you want to make in all areas of your life, your career, your business, your life design. And it's looking at things within your own self that, I didn't have it right away. Oh man, I'm really going back. Cynthia, my lovely Cynthia, came to me one day, and she brought in some information from a beautiful Australian woman named Leonie Dawson. And Leonie Dawson is a business coach in Australia, and she had these cute, wonderful workbooks. I love it. And that was way back in the early, I don't know, maybe 2010, maybe earlier, and started to work with Leonie Dawson in doing her workbooks. I just pulled out one of her workbooks yesterday, funny enough, and taken a look at one of her workbooks yesterday, and I didn't fill it out. I got the book, I bought the book, I had intentions of filling it out, but I didn't fill it out. And I thought to myself, well, why didn't I fill it out? What am I so afraid of in filling it out? And it came that I'm afraid that I'm not going to make those goals. I'm going to put those goals out, and I'm just going to fail at it. That was my very first thought. And I thought, holy shit, that's part of the anger. That's part of that transformation that's coming in. Because it's like, it's easy to continue on the road that you're doing. But even when I found a course on Hecate, and I sent it to Andrea today, and I was looking at it, it's where she says, if you want to work with me, then there's work to be done. You want to make a change, there's work to be done. And it's honoring yourself to create that change. It's honoring yourself in order to create the abundant change that you need to make within your own self. And that's important. So if you're not willing to work at it and do things in a different way, then nothing's going to change, even when you surrender. Because when you surrender, it's saying, okay, then you got to listen to the guidance that comes in. And my guidance was telling me that I needed to move. My guidance was saying, okay, you got to find a different spot. But I was so fearful of doing all of that and disrupting my children again that I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it. And that is so important, right? And to get confirmation on what you're learning, to have a yes, oh, definitely, Tamara, to have a mentor with my knowledge. Oh, thank you, can make all the difference. It's and being able to sit and listen, because sometimes, when people book in, they do a lot of the talking. I don't do much talking. I say a few things, but it's because they have to get it out, and they have to have a place where they can say what's going on inside them. That is a safe space. And many times when people are saying things, when I'm listening, I'm just like, okay, you're repeating yourself and you're contradicting yourself. You want the change, yet you've just given all the reasons why you don't want the change and why you should stay where you are. So you're convincing yourself to stay in a place. We're very good at that as humans. We're very good at convincing ourselves to stay in a place that we don't want to stay anymore. We're very good at that. And so this is because making a change and stepping into something that's different is scary. It's scary because maybe it's not so much, as Marianne Williamson said, it's not so much about being afraid of failing. Maybe it's succeeding. So that's the other thing. Maybe it's that fear of like, oh my God, if I hit the goals that I want to hit, whew, 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 then what? And then I have to go into all the little nicks and crannies that are within inside myself and say, okay, if I do make it, what does that mean? What am I afraid of then? And dive into those spaces and those little nicks and crannies. And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm going into those nicks and crannies. I'm going into those places that need to be exposed so I can create a fabulous place for people to come in and get transformational coaching, because then I'm being my true authentic self in doing that. And that's pretty exciting. So today is a day for you to take some time out of the world and just tune in to where you need to go. Tune in. The anger is going to show up. I can guarantee that. Anger is going to come on up. I mean, Eris is there, just as she was making aspects yesterday. Doesn't mean that energy has just disappeared. It's still there. And same with Lilith. So there's a lot of this, feisty energy and coming up to say, okay, we have to make these changes. What do those changes mean? What does that look like? And stepping forward into it. Thank you. I'm glad I was. And it is. Sometimes, when we're facing our own truths or things that are inside of us, pretty scary. They're pretty scary because of being judged. It's not fun being judged, of people pointing fingers at you and calling you whatever names and thinking that you should be something other than who you are. And instead of, sitting there and holding the space for them to be that of love and coming to a place of love. And I think that's where that sanctuary comes in, because I'd love to have a place that is a sanctuary for people to just come, to be, and to explore and allow themselves to explore the newness. So let me pull some. I'm going to leave those sanctuary and patient cards out, but I'm going to grab my unicorn cards here. Be willing to receive. Be open to receive the goodness. So be open to receive. Look at that. In order for you to take time and release, but you also have to be able to receive the energies that are coming forth. And when you are, then the gift is there. And with that, envision a new reality. Take time to envision a new reality. So there's unlimited possibilities of how you can create what you want to create. But you got to start visualizing. What does it look like? What does it feel like? If you don't know what it looks like, what do you want to feel? Go into the feeling. What is it that you want to start feeling? What kind of, is it a sense of joy, a sense of peace? What does it feel to have abundance? What does it feel like to have, if it's love, what does it feel like to have that type of love that you're looking for? And maybe money, what does it feel like to open up your bank account and like, wow, oh, wow, this is what this feels like to have some money in my bank account. And embrace that feeling. Right? So imagine that. And through that, this card's coming up again. It's the anger card. So express it. Use your anger to express things in a way that in a positive force, because anger can be a positive force for transformation and change. That's how things did get changed. Many things within this world got changed because somebody got mad. You're mad enough, you're going to stand up and say, okay, you know what, I'm done. I'm done with this. That's what the parents are doing all over the United States right now, and standing up for their education, for their kids. I mean, critical race theory is being taught to children. Like no, that's an intellectual course that is taught in universities as an option for people just to look at it, to understand it, and even usually it comes into law. So places, working with law, critical race theory, they look at that because of how other people think. So in order to get a perspective of how they're thinking, you take these courses to broaden your viewpoint of how people get manipulated with those types of thoughts. But teachers are teaching this. I don't know, I'm going on a tangent here. Teaching this bullshit and telling children who are mixed race that how they, that their mother is evil or their father is evil because they're white, and that's just causing more separation. That's not causing love. That's not bringing people together. That's separating people. And even letting kids know, do you know you're a minority? Why should kids know that they're a minority? That's the first thing that we've got to stop teaching, right? We taught meditations. Yes, 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 yes. Oh, definitely an EFT. There's a culture in, let me find it. And here it is. They're the original people of Kemet, Kemet, were known to declare the quality of lives to their loved ones immediately upon birth. Their path documented in materials including stone. Inside pyramids, temples illustrated a person's life as seen by loved ones and holy supporters. Parents, community, and holy ones visioned a vision, the greatest life for a new babe, full of success, battles won, long love, relationships, goodness, vibrant health, success, creativity, prosperity, plenty, and loyalty to their divine purpose. There is a command of inner potential, a recognition of this immediately. A child of Kemet was and will never be in doubt of the royal connection to the palace within them and around them. This is a level of conscious co-creation which exudes faith in a friendly and supportive universe. People and the goddess and gods dance together. This is what I would call spelling. We cast our spells with our tongues, so honor what you say. Speak your truth truthfully and hand anything else over to love. The people of Kemet teach us to think be and live bigger lives, to dream a full life from the start to the finish for me. This means trusting the inner centers and particularly your instinct. The instinct lives actually in the Hara center, located slightly below the tummy button. So, and it can also be called a non-gender womb, the creation space, the cauldron, and so much more. The Hara is magic and the source of feeling grounded, connected, wholeness, fullness, vitality, strength, energy, will, immediately, instinctively, body awareness, safety, independence, and autonomy. So the one that we did this morning, just at the beginning here and connecting you, that's what this is. This is connecting you to the Hara, connecting you to that energy that grounds you, brings you into that wholeness. And setting that intention to their children on the day of birth is so beautiful, because you're not saying to that child that, oh my God, I don't know how to feed this kid. Oh, I don't know, don't have this, don't have this. This is where they come in and they say, you know what? You are filled with love. You are filled with the Holy Spirit. You are filled with love. And we are going to make sure and envision for you the success. Envision for you the battles won, long love, relationships, and the goddess, vibrant health, success. Envisioning that from the day of birth, and everybody's envisioning that. So that means they had the same vision given to them on birth, and their grandparents and their great grandparents. So could you imagine if we just start? Just start. And we can start with our own selves. Start with your own selves by just connecting to your Hara and doing that connection. And that's going to bring in a positive intention for yourself. So today, for your sanctuary, I want you to connect to your Hara. I want you to take 3 breaths in, hold 3, release 3. And I want you to do it for, I'd say, a good minute. So you can put your timer on as you do this. And this is called a square breath. And hold it and you can do it at least 3 times per day for 7 days. So if you're standing at the sink before you do the dishes, before you take the laundry out, do it before you go to bed. Do these 3 breaths and do it for 7 days. And do it in the shower, showering, staring out the window. Do it. You can do it right now. And more connection to the Hara center means more access to your instincts, which leads to clearer yeses and nos in your life. So the more we connect to our own Hara, the more we are showing up with our light, the more we are showing up within our bounty, within beauty, and allowing for that to shine. So that is what I'm giving you today. Have a blessed one today, everyone. Do the Hara, do the Hara, do the Hara, and stand in your love and joy and light. And we will talk to you soon. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a blessed one, everybody. Bye-bye.